It was a nice hot sunny Saturday. I invited my bro to come over to my house to spend the whole afternoon. And throughout the whole afternoon, we only just talk. We yup and yup and yup constantly. We would talk about things like, oh, when we're older, maybe let's go to New Zealand to the mountains. I'll not go too deep into what we talk. We just only yup. That's all I can say. And of course, it's amazing. It's nice to have someone to yup to. And today, it's been 2 weeks since this happened. Of course, I still meet him sometimes. If you see in the recent video that I uploaded. But when I think deeply about it, I realized that out of these moments that I hang out with him, I was never ever thinking about the past or in the future. I mean, he and I would talk about what happened in secondary school or what we want to happen in the future, but we never went into thinking deeply. We never contemplated about it. And it's not just him but I also, anytime that I hang out with my family, my friends, and even him, I'll never think too deep about the past or the future. Seriously, out of 100 moments, I cannot even think of one single moment that I was thinking about the future or dwelling in the past. The thing is, nowadays, bro, we are never ever living in the present moment. We're always either thinking about the future or dwelling in the past. Seriously. So many things to worry about, so many things to think about. I want you to go ahead, bro. I want you to go and think of one moment in your childhood, or maybe recently. When was the last time you were thinking about the past or in the future? None. You were living in the present moment. I'm willing to bet none, not even a single moment that pop out of your mind. If let's say I'm God, which I am not, or maybe the universe, I came up to you respectfully and I tell you that maybe let's say you have 10 years left to live. How would you feel? How would you spend your last 10 years of your life? Would you still be doing the same thing as usual, scrolling on your phone, indulging on maybe Netflix or TikTok? Or would you say to yourself, man, if I only got 10 years left to live, might as well just go and do the things that scares me or that brings me joy? Which one would you choose? Would you even still spend your time worrying about the things that don't matter when you leave the world? Of course you wouldn't. Because let's say maybe 5 years from now on, you will look back at all of these moments. Because 5 years from now on, you will look back all of these moments as memories. Maybe you don't think that this moment is a memory, but in 5 years from now on, your future self will look back and say, man, these were the good old times. Yes, even when you become successful, you also look back at how hard you work, how many times you wanted to give up, but you told yourself that, man, I'm not going to give up until I make it. There's this one quote that I've been trying to remind myself, but I always forget. And it's from this guy. His name is Seneca. One of the wisest dude that I've ever met. I've ever seen, He said that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Really let that quote sink into your heart for a second. You're feeling super anxious right now because you're probably thinking about the future, what will happen, and events that may or may not happen at all. Earlier, I told you that you have 10 years left to live. You probably wouldn't even worry about the past or even think about the future at all. You would just live 10 years. You will live every single day for the last 10 years of your life as if it was the last day you ever live. But then you also fear not living because maybe some days you would just waste your time scrolling on social media. I do that too sometimes. And that's why I remind myself this quote from Seneca. So the next time, whenever you're making memories, just live every single moment like the memory. When you're working hard, work super hard. When you're studying, study super hard. When you're playing, play hard. I'll end you with another quote. And again, it's from the same guy, Seneca. Life is long if you know how to use it. This is a simple reminder for you, hopefully. And that's all from me. See you, bro.